Okay, we're about to dive into a really powerful truth. Your thoughts are literally the architects of your life. So let's get into how your inner world is creating your outer reality right now.
Do you ever just feel stuck? Like you're on a treadmill you can't get off of? You see the same frustrations popping up at work, the same patterns playing out in your relationships, the same roadblocks to just feeling good. What if I told you these aren't just random coincidences? What if they're actually echoes of something going on inside you? All right, so here's the big shift in perspective. Life isn't just something that happens to you. In a lot of ways, your circumstances are a mirror, and they're reflecting back the dominant thoughts and beliefs that you're holding on to inside.
I want you to think of your mind as a garden for a second. The thoughts you plant and, the ones you water every single day, those are the seeds. And those seeds will absolutely, inevitably grow into the conditions and circumstances of your life. So if you want to change the garden, you have to start by changing the seeds. This right here is the heart of it all. Your thoughts are the cause, and your life, your circumstances, that's the effect. This is a fundamental shift, right? It takes you from feeling like a pawn of circumstance to realizing you're actually the architect of your own reality. You're the one holding the blueprint.
So what we're looking at here are basically the two paths your mind can go down. If your mind is constantly focused on fear and doubt, it's naturally going to look for and honestly create obstacles. It's not magic, it's just where you're putting your focus. But a mind that you've trained, one cultivated with belief and confidence, well, that mind is trained to see opportunities and open doors that were completely invisible before. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we change our thinking? This isn't about ignoring reality or some kind of toxic positivity. No way. It's about consciously and intentionally reshaping your mindset. So let's walk through the principles for making real, lasting change. It really starts with purpose. Having a clear why is like a compass for your mind. When you know your direction, your thoughts just naturally start to align with it. That purpose is what gives you the strength to stay the course when things get tough. And that's how you build some deep, unshakable resilience. So much of our suffering doesn't come from what actually happens to us. It comes from our internal reaction to what happens. The real weight, the heavy part, is often the story we tell ourselves about it. The worry, the resentment, the fear. The moment you truly recognize that, you start to take your power back. And the great news is you've got tools for this. You can actively train your mind to focus on gratitude instead of what's missing. You can cultivate a deep, genuine belief in your own ability to adapt and grow. And practices like journaling, meditation, visualization, they aren't just trendy fads. They are powerful, practical ways to consciously design your inner world. Look, I know this can feel like a lot, but this doesn't have to be some overwhelming project. Real change always begins with a single conscious step. So let's take that first step together, right now. Just take a breath with me. In this moment, right here, right now, what is one thing you can be genuinely grateful for? It can be super simple. The chair you're sitting on, a good memory that just popped into your head, the fact that you're here learning. Just hold on to that feeling for a second. That's the seed of change. So for this week, I want to invite you into a simple practice. First, just start to become aware of your thoughts. Notice what's going on up there, but without any judgment. Second, when you catch a thought that isn't serving you, just gently replace it with one that does. And third, try to spend just a few moments each day focusing on gratitude and really visualizing the reality you want to create for yourself. I want you to remember this. Let it really sink in. You cannot change your circumstances without first changing your thoughts. This is not about ignoring problems. It's about taking radical responsibility for the one thing you actually truly have control over, your mind. All lasting, meaningful change begins there. So if this has resonated with you at all, I'd love for you to follow along. We're going to keep exploring how to master your mindset and really create a life filled with purpose. Thanks so much for being here.